Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
And welcome to another episode of Indie Beacon Radio. This is your host, B Alan Bourgeois. And today we have with us Bill Poje. Welcome, Bill, and it's great to have you here. You were mentioning off screen that your last name is Croatian. Is that correct?
That is correct. I am told that the original pronunciation is Poje, which means song, but I'm not a Croat by nature. I'm an American, so really can't prove that.
So you actually pronounce it as Poje?
Correct. That is the pronunciation.
Okay. I kind of like the other one. It gives a little romantic feel to it. So you are a publisher as well as an author. We were talking offline about Byzantine pineapples. So tell our audience a little bit about it and what it's all about.
Yes, Byzantine pineapple. The Byzantine part of it means that we live in a society of Byzantine legal construct. All the laws that are out there, and there's so many of them, contradict each other. It's like the movie Brazil. It's all very Byzantine in nature. And the upshot of it is that you, me, and everyone out there who's listening tonight or in the future are illegal. We're all criminal. We don't know how, but in some way, shape, or form, we are criminal because it's impossible not to be, because there's so many laws out there. The other part of it is that any one of those laws can be used against us selectively at any point in time. Pineapple means that there are those who are sucking off the fruit of the tax labor of all of us. They live inside the pineapple wall. And the rest of us suckers who are on the outside of the pineapple wall kind of get the shaft on it.
I can understand that. And I can also understand that we're in that concept of being illegal in some way, some form, because of all the laws, even the ones that are still in the books from 100 years ago and stuff. It's crazy.
That's right. And the point is also, in a way, that there's no plan for the future out of the political right or the political left. And so what the Byzantine pineapple presents is a flat tax plan that is unlike anything that is out there. So it actually provides solutions as well as pointing out what is flawed.
Okay, so your book then is more of a non-fictional political book?
That is correct. It's a political treatise on that end. There are actually two versions of the book. This version with the star on it, the sun on it, is the short version of the Byzantine pineapple. That's just the Byzantine pineapple itself. The extended version is a two-book-in-one version that has the Corporation X logo in it. So the first half is the Byzantine pineapple, and the second half is the Corporation X business plan. And that business plan is to create the works of fiction and also the nonfiction, such as Byzantine, but primarily the works of fiction as big-budget films to profit everyone involved, and also to promote the principles of the Byzantine pineapple.
Okay, so while we're on the subject, let's go ahead and jump into that business concept because you are Corporation X and you are involved in publishing books. So what is this business plan concept?
Well, in a certain sense, anyone involved is Corporation X. I am Poje LLC. What I create is my own property, and there's a corporation, Poje LLC, that is just myself as a separate entity. For people who want to invest or become involved in creating the next level of everything, that is what Corporation X is. That is the investment vehicle to move everything forward.
Now, when you say move things forward, in what context?
The concept is to, there's more books on the way besides the few that have been published. And the concept is that the first products, the Less trilogy, starting with Painless, is designed to be a tentpole production movie, specifically a $75 million budget film. It features couple car chases in it, a big hurricane finish, some steam, some spice, some romance, some locations. And so the idea is then to create the first and use that to create more products as well to the benefit of all.
Much like a production company / studio where they have one good one and that allows others to be created.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Building from
Right,
scratch.
so let's talk about Painless because it's part of a trilogy. So I believe Painless is the first part of it. So what is Painless?
The easiest way to describe it is that it's a crime novel, and there's a 30-second book tour. All the products I create on the fiction side have 30-second tours. It's a marketing construct of the advertising construct, how I go out and sell people. So when I'm out in public, and we will get to see this at the Texas Book Fair next month, I don't say to people, well, this is my book and things like that. I let the product speak for itself. And so here is the 30-second book tour using the cover of Painless here. It's 2005. The man with the hurricane full of trouble is Augustus Valentine. Og runs an import-export company outside Port Everglades that was started with illegal money. So are the real estate developments in Sandestin. People with illegal money must do something with it. Periodically, goods are smuggled in and out of the country. In come the rubies, sapphires, and diamonds. They are promptly stolen from Mr. Og. Who did what and why is the primary plot. Painless also features Jocelyn, Og's crazy girlfriend. Jocelyn sells Jaguars in Merritt Island. They have a weekend getaway in Ponte Vedra. There's a big hurricane finish on the beach in Sandestin with gold, platinum, gambling in the mix, as well as character development chapters in Detroit, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Nashville.
Okay. And that is a unique elevator pitch if I've heard one. So.
Well, thank you. I greatly appreciate that, Alan. It's using the book cover as part of the marketing construct. And what I just ran through basically is the whole primary marketing focus.
Okay.
So then we go into what will be one of the next books published, which is the sequel, Blindless. And let's see, we do get to see that. Blindless features the back end of the hurricane, deer hunting in Michigan, Krugerrands in Detroit, disco demolition night in Chicago, extended chase scenes through South Florida, South Beach, in particular the Lincoln Road Mall, winds up with an ice storm in Philadelphia, followed by a car chase down the Schuylkill, the Schuylkill Expressway to Penn's Landing, featuring an extended chase scene through the King of Prussia Mall.
Okay.
And then the Lust trilogy concludes with Timeless, which features some Wildwood in Wildwood, Mermaids in Weeki Wachee, the Biotech Corridor of New Jersey, Unconditional Surrender in St. Armand Circle, and winds up with a chase scene from the financial district to Times Square where we recreate DJ Day. A timeless photo if there ever was one.
Yes. All right. So you have Painless, it's out. Then the secondary one, you're planning on having that one out when?
Hopefully in a year. I've got the text is basically written. I have to do final editing. But as many of us know, time to do everything and move everything forward is always a challenge.
Okay, so then Timeless, you're looking at what, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Okay, so allowing a good gap in between to market and promote and all that fun stuff.
Well, and also I've got the other products that I'm working on and have going on that I really want to get out also. The Salvador Dali cipher is another one. Let me grab that. The Salvador Dali cipher combines Charmed with the Da Vinci Code using the works of Dali. And that has test marketed very wonderfully on people. And I really want to get the first installment of that one written. That's another series.
And how many books will you see in that one?
3.
3 as well? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's hard for the people to see the imagery. Can you pull it a little closer and explain it a little more?
Oh, most certainly. This is the new mock-up. There's a wonderful gal Connie up in Buffalo, New York, who is doing some custom art on this work, and the storyboard version of her work is yet to come. So we have the three sisters. So instead of Prue from TV show Charmed, we have Plude, she's the mentalist. And instead of Piper, it's Piper's wife, who's got some tricks up her sleeves. And instead of Phoebe, the empath, it's Feel Me, the empath. And they start out in Tampa, they live in Tampa, they go to the Dolly Museum in Tampa, they get trapped in a secret room, they find and read the mysterious book of surrealism, their powers come to life, and a demon, specifically the demon Dodil, who ends up with a relationship with Plude, attacks them. They cube out to the hall. Now, in the TV show Charmed, they orb to places. Well, Dolly was originally a cubist before a surrealist. So the idea is to use the Dolly cubism as the conceit for orbing. Out in the hall, they find a dead body with a mysterious message, Plude Bong, and I'll leave the rest of it out there for later on, to be decoded, and a dead body. And so then soon the gals are cubing around the globe and meeting the other guys. In the TV show, Piper meets up with Leo, well, it has to be Leonardo in this case, and then Feel Me ends up with the Detective Glaucus Cowell. And so there they go, and they end up in the National Gallery in DC with the Dolly painting of the Last Supper.
Okay. Now, you are referring to Charm, which is a TV show. So would you classify this, the series, as fan fiction?
No. More of a satire in some ways of the genres that are in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I wanted to clarify that because, like I said, you were referring to Charm as a reference point. So I wanted to make sure people understood it was a standalone fictional story. So.
Yeah, it uses the concept of the three gals as the backdrop and the characterization, and it's meant to be respectful. It's not meant to skewer or make fun of them, though humor plays a huge part of it.
Okay. I know you have some other books. We'll get into those in the next segment, but for now, we're going to step away and let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll be right back.
What started as a love letter to her son has become an international love letter for all parents to their children. Now you can read acclaimed author Shanalee Charbonneau's story to your children. When her son was very sick, she calmed him by singing her own song to him. She turned that song into the book, My Mama Loves Me, I'm Her Little Boy. She wrote 3 more magical books for all parents and kids 6 and under. Available at Indie Lecter, Amazon, and all local and national outlets.
Hello, I am the author and poet Denise Bryson. I am the author of The Things That Cross My Mind, Love's Reality, both in book and audio form. I am also noted as one of the best poets of 2011. I have 2 new projects coming up. One is the Blinky series, where Blinky tells us all about our coins and our bills for our children. I also have a book coming out called Say Ye. It's quotes from Denise Bryson, just inspirational and that will help you along the way.
Thank you for watching or listening to this show. Indie Lecter is proud to sponsor this programming. As a thank you for listening or watching, we would like to give you a 10% coupon code that you can use on our bookstore at indielecter.store. Use coupon code video19. Again, that's indielecter.store, coupon code video19 for a 10% discount on any purchase. Thank you.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow.
And welcome back to the second half of Indie Beacon Radio. I am your host, B Alan Bourgeois, and we have with us Bill Poje. Poje. There we go. Welcome back, Bill. You've been talking about all your different books that you have going on. You still have some others that we can talk about. And behind you, you have now Unmanifest Destiny.
That is correct. That is actually the very first story that I fully created. It's the first thing that really drove me, but it isn't the first book to be published. Okay, the first product has to be the Les Trilogy, because the Les Trilogy is less political in nature and really less controversial in nature. The concepts behind Unmanifest Destiny is, why is the United States not growing, right? If we're the greatest nation on the planet, why aren't we growing as a country? What's stopping us? Okay, that is the unmanifest destiny of the United States. So the concept on this one, the plot line, is that Honduras is under attack from the Zeta cartels from the north and Chavistas from the south. The president is assassinated. 3 candidates come to fill the power vacuum: the socialist professor, the military general, and family man Antonio Flores, whose plan is for Honduras to become the 51st state of the U.S., whereby 3 things would happen. The U.S. military would seal the border. All illegal immigration would magically disappear for Hondurans in the U.S., and Congress would undoubtedly send a boatload of cash down. But there is international outrage as the UN and the other countries fear the U.S. growing like a college super conference. There's rumors of a love affair with a U.S. intern whose body is found dead in the rubble of the San Pedro Sula earthquake, which actually happened. And the first story then ends with an explosive political rally in Tegucigalpa, the capital.
Okay, so this sounds more fictional with a touch of nonfiction. Is that accurate?
It is fiction. Yeah, I guess so. It's moving forward. It's proposing an agenda. It's proposing an agenda that does not exist.
Okay. Now, when you were talking about the U.S. growing, in what way were you referring to it as not growing?
Well, growing as far as statehood.
Okay.
And the genesis of it kind of came from the results of what happened in Iraq, of what failed. You know, if getting rid of Saddam Hussein, who, you know, he killed over 1 million people or maimed them between the Kuwait, the Iraq, and other events, the Kurdish bombing, chemical bombing, you know, that's what the UN was supposed to do, is never again will this ever happen. So the US goes in and takes them out, and then it falls into chaos. It falls into chaos because there is no plan. And so, there is no plan. There is no plan out of the political right or the political left. Their only plan is to win the next election cycle by any way they can. And to me, that's the failure of what's going on.
I have to agree with you on that. But I'm curious why you chose Honduras versus Puerto Rico.
Well, Puerto Rico is the it doesn't have the same dynamic because of the territorial relationship. It's not a separate independent country, and so therefore the backdrop and the impact of the story would be greatly lessened by using Puerto Rico instead of Honduras, and building upon the historical U.S.-Honduran relationship.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. So you also have some other books. Do you need to grab any more?
Well, we have upcoming the musical of Senator Smarmy.
Okay.
And this is we have the windmill here. We have the windmill. That's the failed windmill on Manor Farm, which is Orwell's Animal Farm. So the main characters are a male named Arg, who's frustrated by things, and Hip Hop Chrissy, his girlfriend, And if you remember, the name of the musical is Party Late. It's not Party Gate. So if you remember Party Gate, the reality TV couple named the Salehis got into a government Obama administration party. The Obamas were there, and they got tickets somehow. Well, in this case, ARG and Hip Hop get tickets to go see go to Manor Farm, and they crash the party. They crash the party not as the Salehis, but as the Salacious Lees. And then it's Party Late versus Party Gate.
Okay.
And the concept on some of this is that when I look at the politicians today, I find them in kind of a schizophrenic mode. They're very smarmy. They're very arrogant towards everyone, or else they are in their own minds. They are the biggest porn stars on the planet. Everyone loves them and wants to be them and whatnot. So she's Senator Smilf Me Smarmy. And she vacillates between either being arrogant or being, I'll do it for the money. And the president, in Animal Farm, the pig who ran everything was Napoleon. So here we have President Napoleon, which allows for a wonderful, in my opinion, wonderful song. If you know Jim Dandy to the Rescue by Black Oak, Arkansas, well, it allows for the redoing of the song is Big Nappy to the Rescue. Big Nappy to the rescue. Big Nappy to the rescue. Senator Smarmy's intro song is a redoing of American Band as the song American Sham. She's an American sham. She's gone to Washington to party down.
Okay.
And so that one I'm also looking to getting out within the next year. So that one's pretty well written.
All right. I'm almost afraid to ask her what else you have.
Well, we have some nonfiction. This is a true story. This is a place I used to work at, a place called Hilex. Hilex is part of a global Japanese conglomerate, auto industry and non-auto industry. So we made cables, brake cables, transmission cables, steering cables. I used to be in charge of estimating 25% or more of the original equipment manufacturer of all push-pull cables in the United States. And was there 8 years and helped turn the company around as part of my role in estimating, because we flushed out the bad sales and began to make positive sales from what happened. But the president suffered a debilitating stroke. They hired in someone I will call President Fulio, who listens to the manufacturing manager, who is Dr. Evil. And he tells them that the only reason that the products are going offshore to China and Vietnam and Mexico and Korea to be made and shipped back in is because the accounting people don't know what they're doing. And since the guy's in charge of 1,000 people on the factory floor, I get told one day, I had 3 people who worked for me: Glow-2, the Ginkgo loba of the universe; Spo-2, the suck pig of the universe; and Dean, the doggy killer. I used to make various cakes for everyone. I walked in one day and I was told to fire him for no reason. Really, literally, just complete BS. So he was told, well, you're the first of more to come. So he's on the softball team. So that night, on that Friday, he goes and says goodbye to people such as Heather. Heather is the low person on the totem pole in the manufacturing engineering. And next Monday at work, Heather is a complete basket case. Why? Because if Mike got fired and he was a good employee who'd been there for a decade, well, sure time must be up that Monday, that Friday, and how's she going to feed her child? And so word goes back, and so what does the company do? They threaten his severance. What does he do? He puts a shotgun to his head and blows his head off. And suddenly I'm walking the factory floor collecting money for the widow. And that's a, people, politicians especially, talk about jobs and, oh, we need jobs and jobs. It's like you people don't even know what having a job is like.
That is true. And this is another point we're going to stop, let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll be right back.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author of the book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents. That was a question I had to ask myself some 16 years ago, and you'll have to ask the same question. I had a father-in-law with dementia, a mother with Alzheimer's, and a dad with Parkinson, all at the same time.
What would you do if you found out everyone on the town council were thieves and murderers? That's what happened in Bandera, Texas in 1873. John Cruder was the marshal, yet he needed to operate outside the law in order to balance the scales of justice. He is the Midnight Marauder. You can find his books on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com in paperback, digital, and audio. I'm Roy Clinton, and I hope you'll read The Midnight Marauder.
The Les Trilogy, Painless, Blindless, Timeless. The Byzantine Pineapple, Unmanifest Destiny. The Salvador Dali Cipher. Senator Smarmy. The Corporation X Business Plan. Sign up for the quarterly Corporation X newsletter. Corporation X, humorously graphic, very novel. Very novel.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
And welcome back. This is your host, B Alan Bourgeois. We have been talking to Bill Poje about all of his interesting and somewhat crazy stories. They are mixed with a lot of factual and non-factual information and stuff, so it definitely will take you on a ride. He's holding in his hand one of the last books we'll talk about, which is Mom's Amazing Journey. Bill, go for it.
Yes, this is, I take care of my mother with my brother. She's 94 now. Her mental faculties aren't quite what they were. So she lives with an older brother and myself, and we take care of her. But in 2014, she had an itch to scratch before the UTIs took her mind away. And that was to drive out to Montana or go out to Montana. I have another brother who has a house in Glacier National Forest. And so we took a month in September 2014 and drove out to Montana and back, despite objections from family members and the like. And so this is a story of that journey and what it's like and what my life is like and my relationship with my mother and also what her life is like. And so this is a photo from her college yearbook at University of Kansas in the graduate chemistry program in 1947, I believe it was. And that's where she met my father and moved up to Grand Rapids, Michigan, where he took a job at a place called Aquinas College and was a professor there for 35 years.
Interesting.
And so that's the story. See, I expect that with the material I'm writing, and some of it will be considered controversial, that I will be labeled many things. And well, this is my reply. This is what my life is like. You know, it's not what other people say.
Okay. So let's talk about how people can learn about your books and reach out to you. So let's start with your website.
The website is www.poje.biz.
Okay.
And there's all sorts of stuff. There's like 28 web pages out there. But the key thing on there also is there is a sign up for a quarterly Corporation X newsletter. And so that will be to keep everyone abreast of events that develop and what's going on with the marketing and how all this develops as we go forward 4 times a year.
Okay. Do you have any social media accounts?
No, I quite honestly do not. I haven't made it that far yet. Haven't built that yet.
All right.
People
At least
such as yourself are my social media channels.
All right. Well, at least people can get you on the website, and that is poje.biz, correct?
Poje.biz, correct.
All right. So I have one last question, because having these boards is a different way of marketing books that I've not really seen other people do. What made you do that versus something a little bit more traditional?
Well, I like meeting people, and I've done many sales in my life. I actually used to run a used book, comic book, baseball card shop for many years, a decade. I was in the business, and I've had the good fortune to go out and see estates of books and buy estates of books and a history of things. So I have a good idea on marketing and marketing of products from my background of doing things. And the thing I realized is that I'm thinking big advertising. So if you're going to do something, you need something to draw people in 30 seconds and have that pitch. But the thing that I find frustrating of what's out there is that the marketing all seems to be driven by adjective blurbage. This is exciting. Something says this is thrilling. Something says this is must see. Epic. Everything is now epic. I don't want that. Okay. I'm out there, I'm a no one. If I'm going to sell people, I got to sell them the product, okay? I don't sell myself to the public when I go out and I meet the public. I want the product. The product has to sell. That's the ultimate decider of everything, at least in my opinion. And so everything developed from having that concept. The secondary part of it is with Painless and the books being constructed with the thought of, well, this is designed for a big budget film, meaning that we have chases, we have romance, spice, and steam, dialogue, locations. With all that in there, then there's a thread and a marketing tie to doing it like a movie poster.
Right. So the last question I have, and it just went out the door. I've lost it. On your website, do you have a calendar where people can find you so that they can talk to you one-on-one?
Anyone can email me. Anyone can find my phone number. It's very easy. I'm always happy to meet and talk with people. I do keep public events posted, and we'll keep them posted on the website. The only thing right now is the Texas Book Festival next month in October. But I think that in 2020, some things are underway that will put me out in the public quite a bit in 2020. But until I have confirmation, I don't want to say anything more.
I understand that. With that, we are going to wrap the show up. I thank you very much for your time, and I wish you the best of luck.
Well, Alan, I thank you, and I thank you for not only having me on, but for what you're doing with everything. I'm quite impressed. I'm quite impressed by the volume of work and what you have going on, and I wish you all the success with that also.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.